Well, guys, I am a third-generation Bendite. Right? Who knew that was going to be a fucking flex? I'm a third-generation graduate of Bend High School. I married a second-generation graduate of Bend High School. Our dads worked together in the mill that is now the old mill district. I know, right? That's some OG Bend energy right there. Our families partied together. Our cousins went to school together. Two Bend dynasties coming together. Sometimes I feel like we're like the Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth of Bend. Only when we merged our family trees, they were actually two separate genetic trees, not just a loop. But, I grew up thinking that graduating from Bend High was going to be a big deal. Like, that was going to be a part of my identity. People were going to ask me, and I was going to tell people that I'm a lava bear, which none of us know what the fuck a lava bear is anyway, right? Like, the only statue of one is in the middle of a roundabout, and it's pooping. So that's great. But no one asked me about where I graduated from high school. The only questions I get are like, are you vaccinated? And when are you going to use your turn signal at the roundabout? Like, that's pretty much... Yeah, that's not a thing. So every intersection where there's a roundabout is a place that I used to give roadhead in high school. So at those intersections, I'm too busy with memories, all right, to use your little turn stick. I'm busy. You too, huh? Yeah. They were great intersections for that back in the day. Just 4-way stops. Everybody took their time. It was great. We were a mill worker family. My dad worked at the mill. So our life was ran by the work whistle, because everywhere in Bend you could hear it. So when the whistle went off at 5 o'clock, you knew it was time to go home for dinner. If it went off at 7 and you weren't home, you were going to get the belt, and you knew it. That's why every time when the work whistle goes off, I get hungry and my ass hurts. It's a little awkward to explain to a new boyfriend. Dad was a logger, and he was really good at it. To this day, he still knows exactly how to cut a tree to make it fall exactly where he wants it to. And I think I inherited that because I am really good at cutting people out of my life. Right? Timber, bitch. Being a mill worker kid, I was raised to hate a few things, and I'm still working on unraveling that prejudice. I hate spotted owls. Millwork families know. I hate porcupines. And I hate anyone who wears a tie to work. Sorry. It's just how I was raised. But then the mill shut down and Bend completely changed. And that was a tough time for my family. We had to move a lot. We moved from the west side of Bend to the east side of Bend so many times that I don't know if I am a vegan or hate vegans. I still don't know. When I'm in an argument with somebody, the West Sider in me wants to meet you by the river and share a kombucha and make a pros and cons list, The East Sider in me wants to solve that argument by telling you to go fuck yourself while I coal roll you with my lifted truck. It's two very different sides of the brain, But growing up in a mill worker town, I still managed to be a huge nerd, which was kind of a surprise now that I think about it. I feel like most everybody knows about the Sun River Nature Observatory, and they know about the observatory down there. But not a lot of people know that we have a research grade astronautical observatory 32 miles east of town. And I volunteered there in high school. And it was such a sense of freedom because every weekend, starting at 14, my parents would drive me to the very top of that mountain and leave me there for the whole weekend to sleep in a cabin with a bunch of 30 to 40-year-old men. I know, in the 2000s, that sounds like the start of a Netflix documentary. I get it. But in the 90s, it was great parenting. It was fine. There was only one time at the observatory that there was somebody my age there. And it was a boy. He played the saxophone. It was very President Clinton hot. It was nice. It was good. We snuck away from the adults and hiked to the very top of that mountain. and he played his saxophone for me. Yeah, that was the first time the Milky Way had ever splashed my southern sky, and it was so good. We actually didn't end up having sex that night, and I think it's just because we spent so much time maneuvering those really big telescopes. We just didn't have the energy for a small one, you know. But we did end up sleeping in the same bed that night, and I remember waking up, and he was so nervous, and he was so anxious, and I think it was because it was the first time he woke up next to somebody who looked worse during the day than she did at night. He was a nerd, too. Definitely one of his last, but it was his first. It was definitely the first time anyone had ever said to me, you need to get out of my bed before someone sees you. You always remember your first. But I have a lot of happy moments growing up here. You know, I remember as a teenager, one of my happiest moments would be going up to the top of Pilot Butte and getting on top of that pylon statue thing and taking pictures, feeling like I'm on top of the world. In my 20s, one of my best accomplishments is getting second place in a race running up Pilot Butte. Yeah, I have a second place runner's medal, bitches. Only 2 people in my category, but it's still a medal. Suck it. And now every year I get to watch the Butte catch on fire on the 4th of July. Just full circle, right? It's so wonderful. But Bend has changed. It's changed so much. Like, Bend used to be almost exactly like that scruffy blue collar guy, you know, that worked 12 hours a day just so he could buy his wife a new vacuum, send baby girl to college. Now Bend is that baby girl. She went to college. She's got a liberal arts degree. And she's polyamorous. Mostly so she can afford rent, really. All of her boyfriends are into hashtag van life. All of her girlfriends can read your tarot cards. It's wonderful. We're not a mill town anymore. We're a resort town. We're a tourist town. We've got the ski resort, right? Means a lot of guys in this town know how to ride a half pipe, but very few of them can lay it. You know what I mean? Like, they can all ride the wood, but they can't deliver it. It's kind of sad. But we've always kind of been a mountain town, so you know an OG Bendite because we know how to put chains on our car. We're really good with chains. We just suck with actual change. It's every time a Californian moves here, an original Bendite goes to a dive bar to yell at someone about it. It's great. It's wonderful. You know, Bend started as a red light district. That's why we exist. Men would come out of the forest to pay money to have sex with people. It's not much different. People come from out of town to pay money to fuck us out of houses and jobs. But still, same thing. It is hard to live here and watch Bend grow. We've grown by like 60,000 people in like 15 years. Bend has changed. You know, I drive around town and all the places I used to sneak off with boyfriends to go make out are paved over with like apartment buildings and businesses. Like, people have literally paved over my paradise to build a gentle fucking dental. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm still getting pricks in my mouth, but I didn't have to pay for it before. But it hurts a little more, so that's nice. Every time they make a new walking path along the river, an OG Bendite has to find a new place to get trashed and try heroin. Just kidding. Original Bendites are still getting the Haga cocaine. We got a while. But Bend, it seems bigger but it's still not that big. Like, Bend is not that big. I went to San Francisco a couple weeks ago to do a comedy festival. San Francisco's big. You know what I mean? Like, their airport has more restaurants than we have in the entire town. Like, we can calm down a little bit. Right? Like, San Francisco's so big, you can barely feel Silicon Valley's dick inside it. You know who the Californians are. Yeah. But Bend, we're not that big of a town. Like, we still don't have a Buffalo Wild Wings. You can't flag down a taxi. And we still only have one strip club in a 100-mile radius. And that's okay, because with only one strip club, you know where to find all the Bend High School alumni. And my sister. Guys, my name is Katy Ipock. Thank you so much for coming out. Give it up one more time for Carl Clip.